In part 2, we go in search of the ever-mysterious family of the 18th dynasty.
And the eyes and the eyebrows have been made black.
From the family quarrels of Thutmose and Hatshepsut,
It's like you can hear a pin drop.
to the eccentric new ways of Akhenaten and his beautiful wife Nefertiti, the treasures and intrigue behind the story of Tutankhamun. Let's go inside into the burial chamber and the legacy of Tutankhamun's grandparents, Amenhotep and Queen Tiye. Let's go inside. We're greeted by Hathor. Look at the beautiful colors still. This is also Hathor, but with a different crown on. She's got the red crown on. Along with Hathor, we see Khnum with Thutmose III. This temple is closed to the public, so it is very special for us to be showing you here right now, and hopefully you will be able to come enjoy it very soon. And the colors are still here. They are busy showing you what used to be here, so it's actually very amazing to be in here. Thutmose again, the stepson of Hatshepsut, Queen Hatshepsut. Wow, this is beautiful. Oh wow, I love this depiction of Hathor. I've never seen her wearing different crowns like that. This temple was built by Thutmose III to leave his mark in Aswan. I mean, a lot of the monuments that we do see of him today, it's actually Hatshepsut's monuments that he took her name off.
Yeah, but we didn't find any. I would think it was there, and I think the gift will like it.
Yeah, and also Ramses II. He restored all of Hatshepsut's names because he admired Hatshepsut for being a strong woman. After Thutmose III, we had the son of Thutmose III, Amenhotep II, followed by his son, Thutmose IV. And Thutmose IV has a very interesting story because the Great Sphinx was actually covered with sand at this time. He fell asleep at the paws of the Sphinx, which were covered by sand. He had a dream, and in this dream, the Sphinx came alive and told him, Thutmose, if you remove the sand from my body, I will make you into the next pharaoh. And he removed the sand from the body with his soldiers. Following that, he became the next pharaoh. And his son was to become the pharaoh Amenhotep III. Amenhotep III took a very strong stand in religion and building at Karnak. There was, in the ancient Egyptian time, a thing called the god's wife, the wife of Amun. And a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of the pharaoh's wives were the god's wife, as in the wife of Amun, Mut. A scene here from Amenhotep III's tomb, and actually what is great about this image is here we can see Amenhotep with his mother Mut-Emwia, and Amenhotep had a very strong connection to his mother, hence why she's depicted here in his tomb in such an ornate style. But actually what I want to show you is this. This is actually the birth of Amenhotep III. This is the story of how his mother, who is Mut, the reincarnation of Amun's wife, with the two deities holding up Thutmose and Mut-Emwia And the sign of the Ankh going towards the mouth of Mutemwia is symbolic of showing the conception of the next pharaoh, Amenhotep III. We have written records suggesting that Tuya and Yuya, the mother and father of Queen Tiye, were of foreign descent, possibly even Mediterranean. Mutemwia, being the sister of Yuya, was actually present during the early reign of her son Amenhotep III, and she might have actually been behind connecting the young king at the time with Tiye to connect her family with royalty. These masks are for Tuya and Yuya, the mother and father of Tut's grandmother, Queen Tiye. Amenhotep III ruled Egypt for 39 years. He is the inventor of what we could say the beginning of a newspaper. It all started with a little scarab, like this, a little stone scarab, and on the back of the scarab, he would inscribe news bulletins. On this one, which is an exact replica, he is writing about how much he loves his wife-to-be, Queen Tiye, and telling us about that they are going to be getting married. Also, he explains at the back of this little scarab that he is building a lake at Akhim in honor of the new queen. Amenhotep III appears to have been crowned while still a child, between the ages of 6 and 12, so it is possible that he had a regent ruling on his behalf for a couple of years. And 2 years after he came onto the throne, he married Queen Tiye. Amenhotep III ruled Egypt in a more intellectual way than before. He didn't do any wars, he didn't do any battle. He instead decided to correspond directly with foreign allies, making friends with them, sending gold, as Egypt at this time is known as the Golden Age. They had so much gold. A foreign correspondent to Amenhotep III said, "Send me gold, because I believe in your country gold is as common as dust." Many foreign rulers actually preferred to converse directly with Queen Tiye rather than Amenhotep III because of his age at that time, Queen Tiye possibly being a couple of years older, maybe even 5 years older than Amenhotep III. Down in Nubia, Amenhotep III built this temple called Soleb, which he dedicated to his wife, Queen Tiye. And actually here we have an image of Queen Tiye stepping on the enemies, stepping on the Nubians, showing that Amenhotep and Queen Tiye are in charge of Egypt and Nubia at that time. Amenhotep III with Amun-Ra, Amun wearing the ram's horns and being greeted by Amenhotep III. The Serapeum has recently been restored and opened to the public, and it's just incredible to see the size of the sarcophagus for the 24 Apis bulls, each sarcophagus. Continued from the time of Amenhotep III all the way until the Ptolemaic time when the Greeks were here, and that's kind of where it ended, but each bull was buried here, and the ceremony that went on to bury each bull was extremely extravagant. They had dancers, they had singers, they had official mourners, exactly how they would have for the pharaoh. So quiet. It's like you can hear a pin drop. It's like you can feel how it must have been like when they closed that lid and everyone left. How
it's
quiet.
very important, it's not just quietness. The quietness here refers to holiness.
Yes.
So you should feel you are walking in very special holy place.
I mean, look at
Yeah, from your hand, yeah.
It's so quiet.
They really want, this impression for the visitors.
I'm feeling
it's
it.
meant.
We are meters below ground in this tunnel, and as you walk and you look at every single Apis bull,
that was buried here, you just see history, and it's years and years of history all down here. And it's a little bit overpowering, actually. I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed right now. I'm going to take you down here so you can get the sheer size of this sarcophagus. It's a granite sarcophagus. I don't even want to walk underneath here because it's so huge. I feel like it's just going to snap off. Look at the size of just the lid. This is incredible. And these were brought from Aswan.
Yes.
How did they move these?
Flood. It's all about the flood.
The flood. This image, taken from the tomb of Amenhotep III, shows you just how badly it has been damaged. You see the faces have been cut out here. They haven't fallen out over the years. They've been cut out and transported to the Louvre Museum in Paris. This here is Amenhotep III and his royal wife, his great wife, Queen Tiye. Look how beautiful she looks. Queen Tiye being almost a co-regent with Amenhotep. She was that powerful. She was on the same level. So this is a very rare image of Queen Tiye from the tomb of Amenhotep. However, the most famous image of Queen Tiye is this bust. This is a replica of the bust of Queen Tiye, which I was given from my friend Muhammad. His grandfather actually crafted this out of wood about 100 years ago. So she's very special to me. But this is the image of Queen Tiye that we all know today. But you can see Queen Tiye and Amenhotep and her bust. Yeah, a very powerful woman. She looks a bit upset, but actually, if you know what this woman had to go through, you'd probably look the same way. One of the attractions for tourists are alabaster factories, where you can purchase handcrafted Egyptian art.
So I'll give you first an idea how to make alabaster and some other stuff here. Alabaster stone we usually get after the mountain from Tutankhamun, about 80 kilometers. So alabaster stone has three colors: white, brown, and green alabaster. These are the three colors from alabaster stone.
We are very lucky that my friend and the owner, Mohammed, has agreed to give us a private tour of the factory.
Oh wow. This goes for 3 days, and when it's not here, you just sold it second for the light and go again for 3 days. Over there are the limestone plates. This section here, this is all our fine art unique pieces.
I have a weakness for Egyptian art, and Mohammed has even included a very special surprise for us.
And this egg is baked in a tagine.
Yeah, baked in the tagine.
And this is traditional
Egyptian breakfast. This is homemade cheese.
Okay. What a treat to have this with Mohammed here in the Alabaster Factory. Thank you.
A very special gift, a handcrafted bust of Queen Tiye, crafted out of wood by Mohammed's grandfather almost 100 years ago. The amount of effort and detail that has gone into crafting this bust is absolutely captivating.
Excuse how disheveled I look, I'm getting a bit hot right now. But on our way past, I thought I would stop and tell you about these two humongous statues. This is for Amenhotep III, the father of Akhenaten. Let's go take a look closer.
The Greeks used to refer to these statues as the Colossi of Memnon.
Next to King Amenhotep III, at the entrance to his mortuary temple, we have his queen, Queen Tiye. And Queen Tiye was known as one of the strongest queens from ancient Egypt. She's shown as very angry sometimes, but she was very powerful. She made a lot of decisions for the country, and she really did a lot of good. And when Akhenaten changed the religion, she only went to Amarna to visit him once, and she remained living here in Thebes, modern-day Luxor. In KV 35, 3 mummies turned out to be from the Amarna period. And actually, after a couple of tests and identification, the mummy of Queen Tiye. Now, to me, Queen Tiye looks like she would have been incredibly beautiful, with a long neck, beautiful shoulders, and actually look at her face. She looks very serene, very calm, and even her hair, I can imagine how this woman's hair would have looked. Look how beautiful and long and thick her hair was. And she would have been quite old when she died, so she looked pretty good. Here's another image of the great Queen Tiye. We see her hair here very well. She's had a bit of damage on her chest. When tomb robbers broke into the tomb, they damaged the body of Queen Tiye along with the other Amarna mummies in the Valley of the Kings. This is a color image of Queen Tiye's mummy, and we can see that her hair has actually got a little bit of a red color to it. So she probably was brunette or even a redhead. You see her royal hand up, which shows that she was a queen. The very distasteful damage that they've done to this queen's body. There is only one time written down that shows Queen Tiye actually visiting her son Akhenaten in Amarna. I'm of the opinion that Queen Tiye was not a strong supporter of this new religion, even though we have a few artifacts showing Queen Tiye worshipping Aten. This might have just been Akhenaten forcing these art pieces to be created for his mother. I'm of the opinion that Queen Tiye stayed in Thebes, only visiting her son once for his Jubilee celebration, and she continued to worship Amun in Thebes. That is why she decided not to move to Amarna, where she would not be controlled religiously.
Come with me and see a very beautiful and fascinating tomb in the Valley of the Nobles.
This is the tomb, a very special tomb, of Ramose. And Ramose was the vizier to Amenhotep III and Amenhotep IV, who later changed his name to Akhenaten. And what is very special about this tomb is very few color, everything is black and white. The art is very different because of the Aten religion that Amenhotep IV brought in. And something else you notice, there are these enormous columns inside this tomb, which is very unique. And standing in here, you hear the echoes. It is very overpowering to be in here right now. And something that I want to show everyone. The Egyptians believed in, obviously, reincarnation, and I believe that I am inside this tomb. Here is a man, long hair, a beard, eyeliner, and a bit of a big nose. Quite similar to me, won't you say? So, yeah, it's almost like I'm looking at my Egyptian self here.
What is happening here is the vizier Ramose is greeting and receiving tributes and gifts as well as taxes from the Egyptians, allies, and neighboring countries. The Egyptians invented taxes, and everyone who was connected to them was compelled to pay taxes to the priests as well as to the pharaoh. Taxes were taken in various forms, however the most common form was grain. Being the vizier, Ramose was in charge of many duties, not only taxes.
Along here, we see Ramose and his wife, and
he's seen here getting prepared, giving the offerings for his preparation to enter the afterlife. And it is so beautiful to see everything is just stone, and the eyes and the eyebrows have been made black, very symbolic of the Egyptians wearing their makeup. As we know, the Egyptians invented makeup, and this is a clear sign of the eyeliner that was very special to them. As you move on, you see them sitting here, preparing to go to the funeral. Here's the funeral happening. This is the only color. This is the only wall that was made during the time of Amun, before Aten. And here's the color happening. The official mourners were throwing sand over their heads, and the eyeliner that's running from the woman crying. And they would do this for 70 days until the mummy was put into the tomb.
Ramose's funeral would have been very extravagant, and like the pharaohs, he was also buried in a golden shrine, and in his tomb he was placed with all the objects that he would need in his afterlife: beds, clothes, various food items.
These columns were carved out of the stone the tomb was carved into. And a very special thing, when you come over here, you will see where the religion suddenly changes from Amun to Aten, changed by Akhenaten. And here we see the very prominent image of the sun god Aten. And here is Nefertiti and Akhenaten inside this tomb, being bathed by the sun rays. I can only imagine what it sounded like, what they would have said during this burial. And something interesting is Ramose disappeared from history, and Pharaoh Aye, later on, took over, the father of Nefertiti and the vizier to Akhenaten and Tutankhamun. It's very moving to think about what this man had to go through, sacrificing his religion for Aten and Akhenaten.
It is very rare that we see an image or a depiction of Akhenaten with his father Amenhotep III. You could even see Amenhotep IV as almost the outcast of the family. So this could be one of the reasons why he changed the religion from worshipping Amun to his one god, Aten. He moved the capital city from Thebes into the middle of the desert to Amarna. And at Amarna, it's been destroyed since Akhenaten was there. But it's a very difficult time period because we're not quite sure of what happened. There's so many theories. One of the theories being that maybe even Nefertiti was co-regent with Akhenaten, or that Nefertiti outlived Akhenaten, but we cannot be sure. I'm of the opinion that Nefertiti actually died before Akhenaten of plague, but we can't be 100% sure unless we invent a time machine to take us all back there. Akhenaten stated on a stela outside the boundaries of Amarna that he would never leave his city, and he never did. He didn't even answer when a foreign country would send him a letter asking for help. This was very bad. It put Egypt into such a bad light.
These blocks that we're seeing here were originally at Karnak Temple, and after Akhenaten, Tutankhamun, Horemheb, Aye, every successor after him took these blocks down, flipped them over, and reused these as rubble to fill in other buildings. And maybe a good thing, because it's preserved all of these rituals of Akhenaten worshipping Aten, and we see just exactly
what this king was thinking for his religion. He changed the religion, which was quite strange. Anybody who was caught worshipping Amun or any other Egyptian god was either forced to convert or killed. In some cases, we actually see that Nefertiti was even stronger than Akhenaten, because we see Nefertiti smiting these so-called enemies who are actually Egyptians worshipping the wrong god. Kind of get an idea of the relationship between Akhenaten and Nefertiti. Nefertiti being this incredibly powerful woman, Akhenaten being a more weak man. You can tell this because of his statues. He looks very different. He's malformed. He's got what people speculate as epilepsy, which is why he was having these visions. So, you know, with Akhenaten, things are so all over the place, it's very difficult to pinpoint down what was going through this guy's head.
Thank you.
During Akhenaten's reign, he took on a co-regent known as Smenkhara. This was towards the end. And actually, Smenkhara is believed to be a man. Some people believe maybe Smenkhara was Nefertiti. However, after Smenkhara, there was a short reign by another pharaoh known as Nefernuaten, and many people are of the opinion that Nefertiti changed herself into a pharaoh and used the throne name as Nefernuaten. I'm not of this opinion, just because I've seen a lot of studies done by other Egyptologists who also believe Nefertiti died during Akhenaten's reign, hence why Smenkhara came in. So, if Nefertiti was so strong in believing in Aten, why would Nefertiti become pharaoh and then help Tutankhamun to change the religion back to Amun? It just doesn't add up. But I respect other people's opinions, but this is just my opinion. I believe Nefertiti died during Akhenaten's reign. But, you know, we will never know 100% for sure. In the tomb of KV 35 in Thebes, modern-day Luxor, where they found Queen Tiye, we have two other Amarna period mummies, one which is a young prince. We presume he might even be Smenkhara. This lady over here, her face has been taken away basically by tomb robbers who realized who this woman was. They were not happy with the Amarna period family. This is why these mummies have all been damaged so much. They were moved into the valley, the tombs got broken into, and the tomb raiders were not pleased. Her face that has been bludgeoned in, her chest they've taken away her breasts, they've taken away her arms, which would have been bent to show that she is a queen. Many Egyptologists have theorized that this might even be Queen Nefertiti. She's even got here the two pierced ears, and we know that Nefertiti was shown always with two pierced ears. Even on her bust, she had two pierced ears. But DNA tests show that this mummy was actually Kiya, the mother of King Tut. We know that Kiya was the mother of Tut. The most controversial tomb and excavation was for KV 55, done by Theodore Davies. They went into this tomb, and to get through the main door, the sealed door, they actually used dynamite, and this damaged a lot of the artifacts in the tomb. And inside this tomb, they found this coffin. You can see the rubble, everything around it, and this coffin, which was so badly damaged because of the explosion to get into this tomb. Actually, we know that this coffin was for Akhenaten. His name was taken off, however, underneath it says son of Aten, which is Akhenaten. But actually, the craziest thing is when you look at the face of the coffin, it's still there. In modern time now, the face is not there anymore. A possible theory is Theodore Davies took the face off. He broke the face off and sold it to help pay for his excavations in the Valley of the Kings.
1912, a German excavation crew were in Amarna. This is where they found one of the most famous images of Nefertiti. This is the first ever image taken of the bust of Queen Nefertiti. This is the first official image, the first official photo taken of the bust of Nefertiti. Hitler was a big fan of Nefertiti, and when in World War II Egypt asked for this bust to be returned to the Egyptian Museum, Hitler threatened Egypt by saying that he's going to blow up major monuments. That is how this woman has remained in Germany. Nefertiti is clearly very beautiful. However, I see her as maybe a little bit cold, not really interested in other people's ideas or opinions. She was very opinionated. That's the idea I get about her. And with the connection with Tut's mother Kiye, and her maybe being behind Kiye's disappearance, there is something more mysterious behind this face. It is a known fact that Nefertiti gave birth to 6 daughters, and that's the truth, only daughters, not a son. It is the minor wife of Akhenaten, Kiye, who gave birth to the future pharaoh Tutankhamun, who was known then as Tutankhaten. Canoptic jars here for Tut's mother, Kiye, the other wife of Akhenaten, the one that Nefertiti became jealous of, and she disappeared from history. We're not sure why. Maybe Nefertiti had something to do with it. Unfortunately, the authorities here have asked me to please take off my microphone from my camera to show my respect to the other visitors today. They feel it's a bit invasive, so I'm going to respect that. So I do apologize if there's any bad sound, but I'm going to try and show you some really amazing pieces. The mask of Tutankhamun is actually banned from being photographed. People are not allowed to take pictures of it, let alone even take a picture with it. However, I was given the great honor of being one of the very few people going along with the names of Princess Diana, Queen Elizabeth, Will Smith, Sophia Loren, just to name a few, who've actually been photographed with the mask of Tutankhamun. It was such an amazing day. We arrived early at the museum and we waited in the office, signing paperwork, making copies of passports. It was very official. And eventually, after almost 2 hours in the office, we got escorted by 2 ladies from the museum, 1 guy from the museum, and a security guard with a huge gun. So we walked into the Tut room. It was so incredible. They moved everybody out onto the sides, and we were allowed to take 4 pictures with the mask of Tutankhamun. For me, I was so thrilled to be able to do this. I've been waiting so long to get permission to take these pictures. It was so stressful and so excited, and just I can't describe how it felt. And it was just, I can't thank the SCA more, or even Iman, thank you for helping. And as soon as we left the Tut room in the museum, everyone just like crowded around me because they were like, wow, okay, Curtis is here and he's taking pictures with the Tut mask, like we need pictures with him now. So it was actually quite a lot of fun. But yeah, it was really something so memorable. I will never forget that day. After all the selfie taking, even the officials from the museum had to join in. and I was so honored by a surprise visit from the curator of the Egyptian Museum in Cairo.
Inside this sarcophagus, they found a lock of Tut's grandmother's hair for Queen Tiye. So she was a very powerful woman, so I'm sure he had a very strong bond with his grandmother.
There's a lot of speculation about Queen Tiye. One of the theories that I like to believe is that maybe, possibly, Queen Tiye outlived her son Akhenaten just for a couple of years, and Queen Tiye, along with her brother Aye, were very instrumental in changing the religion back from Aten to Amun and shaping Tutankhamun into the pharaoh that he became for the 9 or 10 years that he actually ruled for. This would explain a lot about why Queen Tiye only visited Amarna once. But if this did happen, this means that Queen Tiye would have had to be somewhere between 90 and 100 years old when Tut became pharaoh, which seems very unlikely, but not entirely impossible. This is one of Howard Carter's notes. This is actually the inside of a small coffin given to Tut by his grandmother, Queen Tiye. But what I love the most, it mentions Queen Tiye's name many times here, but here it says, a gift for Tutankhamun from Queen Tiye, a gift of grace. I love that, because this tells me Queen Tiye may have possibly been alive in the early years of Tut's reign, because Tut, when Queen Tiye knew him, would have been referred to as Tutankhaten, not Tutankhamun. Tut had an incredible sense of style. He was very stylish for his time. His perfume was custom made with spicard plants from India and mixed with frankincense. He had a very unique scent. He also loved his clothing, and he had a mannequin of himself. His staff would come in the morning, dress the mannequin, and he would choose, okay, this outfit is okay, I don't like it with these pants, whatever. Very interesting how interested he was in appearance.
This is Tut's throne, the main throne that he would use in his everyday life. And actually this throne was originally used by his father, Akhenaten. It's obvious because you can see there the Aten sun rays that are coming down.
You can see Ankhesenamun, Tut's sister, affectionately holding him as her husband. Tut's name is written as Tutankhaten on the armrest, which is guarded by the vulture and the cobra. But all is not as it seems on this throne, as Tut and Ankhesenamun have replaced the original depictions which were of Akhenaten and Nefertiti. To the front of Ankhesenamun we can see the outline of what is surely Nefertiti's face.
The god Horus was obviously trying to avenge his father's death, Osiris, by fighting with Set, and they had a battle at Edfu, which is why they built Edfu Temple. And this here is not actually showing Tut hunting on a boat. It is symbolic because during this battle between Horus and Set, Set turned into a hippo. Horus took a harpoon and killed Set as a hippo. This is actually showing that Tut is overcoming the chaos in Egypt at that time. And here is Tutankhamun's burial chamber. It's very small. As we know, the tomb was actually swapped by Pharaoh Aye for Tut. And it's actually a very beautiful tomb. And here we have the stone sarcophagus with the golden sarcophagus on the inside. And on the walls here, you can see, here's the shrine with the Tut's mummy on the inside, And over there we see Tut in the form of Osiris in his white cloak. Also Pharaoh Aye, who is Nefertiti's father actually, performing the opening of the mouth ceremony, which allows the dead to revive their senses. Let's go inside into the burial chamber. Here we have the stone sarcophagus with the 4 protective goddesses on either side. And here we have Tut being greeted by Anubis, who is leading him on his journey in the afterlife. And down here we have the 12 baboons of Thoth, showing the 12 hours of the night and of the day. Here we see Tutankhamun with the deities and Tut here with Osiris mummified. As we go down, we see Tut here with Aye, and they're performing the opening of the mouth ceremony. And it's just incredible to be seeing this so up close. And as you'll notice, there's a lot of speckles on the walls, almost like mold, that has actually been proven that it's not growing, that it was formed when they closed the tomb because the paint was not dry when they sealed this tomb. And when you stand in here, you hear the echoes. You can imagine what it would have been like at the funeral. But the thing you get a sense of is, why is it so small? But still you'll notice the similarities between Tut's tomb and Aye's tomb. The art is very similar, the colors are very similar. As Howard Carter, I can just imagine what it would have been like to be inside Tut's tomb and to see just gold everywhere. After Tut died, Pharaoh Aye, he knew that the only way he could become pharaoh is by marrying Akhenaten, Tut's wife, half-sister. Akhenaten did not want to marry this old man. He would have been 70-something at this stage. She even wrote to the land of Mitanni asking the king, please send me one of your sons, I will marry him. And Pharaoh Aye stopped the prince and killed him. Pharaoh Aye decided to go ahead and destroy the memory of Tutankhamun. He destroyed images and statues and any depiction of Tut. Even after Aye died, after his short 2-year reign, Horemheb, who was an army general, then went on to destroy images of Akhenaten, Tut, Aye, and basically removing the entire Amarna period from history. I have been inside many tombs, and each tomb gives me a different feeling, but Tut's tomb is entirely unique. I feel very uneasy, not only because Tut's body is still in the tomb, but because there is so much mystery around this young king. You'll hear the fans in here. That is to keep the humidity regulated. And what they actually do is when the humidity gets too high, they have a sensor and it actually makes an alarm and they close the tomb because humidity can actually be very damaging to the artwork that you're looking at. As we leave the Valley of the Kings with the naturally formed pyramid, we go to an area under high security where very few people have ever been or even heard of before.
Welcome to Valley of Baboons.
where we do have a very beautiful tomb. We're going to see the tomb of Aye.
Am I right in saying that Aye, when Tut died, he wanted to take the throne so quickly, he rushed the mummification process.
He did.
And he put Tut into a tomb that was not complete.
And it was not for him at all.
Yes.
So we do believe the tomb for Tutankhamun, where it is right now at Valley of the Kings, should not be for him at all.
There's absolutely no tourists here. It's just us right now. It's very special.
No doubt. Come and visit Egypt.
I've been given permission to open the tomb of Aye myself with the key.
Imagine the method of like light
With just a little lamp.
That's right. This is the burial chamber, and this is the beautiful coffin, which is made like from one single piece of a stone, red granite.
The paintings are very similar to the paintings inside Tutankhamun's tomb.
That's right. Even the baboons, and even whatever like in Valley of the Kings and the tomb of Tutankhamun is repeated once more here. Egypt is heaven and heaven is Egypt.
Exactly.
But you can notice that there's most of the cartouches, most of the names of Aye had been chiseled out.
Why?
And this is one of the main reasons, because lots of people discovered that his Aye, he was not the right person to be on this tomb, as well as to be ruling Egypt for that moment.
Yes.
So
It
know
should
that
have been Horeb.
that's right.
This tomb is like 3,000 years old.
That's right. That's right.
To be standing here looking at these things is incredible. This sphinx is a white alabaster sphinx of Tutankhamun, but obviously you can see his face has been very badly damaged. Obviously from the people who took over after him who were still angry at Akhenaten. And here at the top, where the cobra would have been, they've taken the cobra away because the cobra was originally solid gold, so they've taken that away. The original images found from Tut's tomb that were taken by Howard Carter and Harry Burton. This was the innermost coffin, and underneath this, the death mask of Tutankhamun. And underneath this mask, they found the body of the pharaoh, the young pharaoh, the boy king, Tutankhamun. The mask was found with the beard was actually broken off. So this is how it would have looked without a beard. The beard being very symbolic of the pharaoh, if it had a curve on it, passing over to the afterlife, known as the Osiris beard. The side profile, you can see it's had a lot of damage from when Howard Carter pulled it off of the young king's body. He actually dislocated Tut's head when he took the mask off. A very unique thing is Tut is the only pharaoh shown here wearing a cobra and a vulture at the same time. Vultures were seen more as feminine, so we're not sure if maybe the headdress was gifted to Tut or recycled and the face was added on. It might just be the way that they manufactured the mask. But something that annoys me is people always say Tut's ears are pierced. Now, countless other pharaohs have also got pierced ears. Even later on in their adult life, they are shown with pierced ears. Seti, Ramses, Akhenaten are all shown as adults with pierced ears. So that theory we can just dismiss instantly. The beard was reattached many years later, and this necklace is actually underneath the mask on display at the moment. Up until the 1940s, Tut's mask was displayed in the Cairo Museum, as we see here.
with the beard not attached. It's only recently that the beard has been attached in the late 40s. Recently, the beard has been broken off, stuck on. We all know this story. It was stuck on with epoxy super glue. But you know what? Even without a beard, this mask is so iconic. Death masks in ancient Egypt were incredibly important. Mostly because once you've been mummified, your face decays and your spirit cannot recognize your body. So they would place a mask over the mummified body for the spirit, once it travels back to your body after the 70 days, for it to recognize who you are, to be revived in the afterlife. And also the gods needed to recognize who this body was. And by putting a mask preserving the face perfectly, this allowed people to be recognized in the afterlife. Hi Khaled.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, and you?
Hi.
How are you doing?
How are you? I'm fine, thank you.
It's amazing.
Welcome, thank you.
Thank you. It's literally just gold everywhere.
It's my small museum.
Yeah.
This coffin.
How did you get this from the museum?
No, I make it here.
No, this is from the museum.
Yeah, it's same.
No, it's the one from the museum. It's the one from the museum.
No, it's a government will come.
It's perfect. Look at this.
This is Tut.
It's identical.
Yes.
Wow. Oh wow. It's identical to the real one.
It's covered with real gold.
It's the crown.
Yes,
the
the crown.
Tutankhamun.
Yeah, Tut's crown.
Can I put it on?
Sure.
I don't want to break it.
Sure.
It's heavy.
Yes. Metal. With gold cover.
Is that
King
good?
quartz.
This is Tut's canopic shrine. Full size. This is a full-size replica.
Yes, same size.
Same size.
Yes. And this also.
And it's got every single detail as well.
Same as a museum.
Exactly the same.
Yes.
Khaled creates high-quality replicas of some of Egypt's most famous and most iconic artifacts,
Everything is gold.
I like gold.
creating pieces for many documentaries and films, including the Tut series starring Ben Kingsley, as well as hotels, restaurants, and private collections.
What is it about the pharaonic decor that you love?
I make it for me. When I come from America, I was working there.
Yes.
I make some stuff for me. And when I rent store to put my stuff inside, somebody come see it and ask me, is this for sale? I told him, yes. He gave me good money. I told myself it's
And that's how it started.
expensive. Yes.
It's even got the red in the eyes.
Yes.
A lot of people miss
the
that
corner.
detail.
Yes, these small details. From outside the country, I make like 12 restaurants around the world.
Just
London,
pharaonic style.
German. Every restaurant, I make it different style.
In 1922, when Howard Carter found the tomb of Tutankhamun, it was an international sensation. You can't actually describe how this just blew up. And Tut's mask, Tut's death mask, became the most iconic image of Egypt. If you speak to anybody today about Egypt, immediately the first thing they'll picture in their mind, blue and gold stripes and the face of Tutankhamun. It's very incredible that every successor after Tut tried to take his memory away, yet he is the most famous after the pharaohs. It's incredible.
This is the burial chamber of the tomb of Seti I,
In part 3, we delve into the family of the 19th dynasty with my favorite king, Ramses II, and his great royal wife, Nefertari. I have a little offering for Queen Nefertari. Ramses on his chariot with his horse shooting his bow and arrow. Join me as we explore some of the greatest monuments of the Ramesside era, their devotion to the gods, and my quest for answers about Ramses' wooden coffin.